Well, good morning, campers. This morning on my longer walk that I normally do, which is about 5 miles, there's a fork in the road and I normally turn left, but this morning, I decided to turn right. So I'm on a bit of a longer walk. It's going to be a challenge. I've done it once before. I was absolutely shot when I got back, but let's see where we go. And all this walking and posting these walking videos is me just trying to get back to fitness that I was, and I was never a fit man. You know, I'm quite a large guy, but I'm just trying to get my fitness level back. Whoop, ice everywhere. Just trying to get my fitness level back so I can get back in the workshop and start making stuff, as well as going back to work and just life really, I guess. So I still get tired, I still sleep, but there's no afternoon sleeps. But for example, last night, because I did a couple of walks, I had about 11 hours sleep last night. It kind of wiped me out, so I was up late this morning. But I'm pushing on, losing weight and enjoying the countryside, and who can say better than that? Here's a friend of mine that I met last time I did the walk, from the local farm, I think. A lovely little dog. Quite the welcoming committee. They're still going on. I'm miles past them. Anyway, that's the farmhouse where supposedly the poem Casabianca was written. The boy stood on the burning deck. I'll find the words to the poem. I'll fit them in somewhere on the video. Now this is an old road, same road, but we're heading towards the Avon Clwyd, the River Clwyd. This is really an old road. You can generally tell old roads, I believe, because of how deep they are in the landscape. So if you look to the left and the right, the embankments are pretty high, lined with trees, kind of medieval, they reckon, or so I'm told. Anyway, Pont Dafydd at the bottom here, I'll show you. It's now just stuck in the middle of a field, or at the edge of a field, and it's part of an old pilgrimage route which would have come from Holywell or Holywell, where the Catholic well is, can't remember exactly. I think the girl's name was Mary, had her head cut off, and where her head landed, the well sprung out the ground. And then I believe it was her head was cut off by a suitor who wanted to marry her and she refused. And then I believe it was Saint Bueno that came along and stuck her head back on, and she lived. And apparently Saint Bueno is reputedly sticking heads on all over North Wales in his day. So quite a nice character to know, I guess, if you happen to have your head cut off. Not the best view in the world of the bridge. Hope you can see it amongst the trees. Let's see what happens if I can carry on walking. I might get another view from somewhere else. Let's try that. So before we get another view of the bridge, I'm heading on to the North Wales Expressway, or the A55. I'm still on the old road. You see behind me, that would have took a diversion across the field there, heading up to St Asaph Cathedral, which is probably a mile away now, just over the river and up the hill. Just goes to show how important the route is that we're still using it today in modern Britain with the A55. I don't know how well you can hear me, but that's Pont David. And the field's dry now, as you can see. And the river was rerouted for the A55. It just dawned on me, I got the name wrong for the well. It's I don't know how I got that wrong. St Winifred's well. St Winifred's well. So it was Winifred that had her head cut off. Oh, here we come. The river Clwyd in its, or Avon Clwyd, as we should call it, crossing the A55. And these are the wet fields. Constantly flood. They're on a floodplain and they stretch beyond the A55 and behind us. And now we're just going up the hill. Once we get to St Asaph Cathedral, we're halfway. Start heading home then. Well, I may start to puff and pant, but it's occurred to me, why does Milmo Wood, a woodworking channel, put hiking videos on? Well, this isn't really a hike, but walking videos on. What's all that about? And it's probably the worst thing you can do on YouTube. You know, am I doing a walking channel? Am I doing a fitness channel? Or am I doing a woodworking channel? Well, it's very much a woodworking channel, without a doubt. The reason I put some walking videos or hiking videos, some of them that are on my channel, I've walked nearly 200 miles, 100 miles, that sort of thing, is it's walking and being in the great outdoors, as we call it in the UK. Although I must confess, compared with other countries, I guess the UK's great outdoors is quite minuscule, but nonetheless it's absolutely beautiful and packed, cram-packed with beauty. Anyway, walking in nature with the trees, getting in connection with the earth, all sounds a bit pompous, but that's what it's about, and that's where I started. I coppiced some wood, I made bandsaw boxes out of the branches. I've made trinket boxes, bandsaw boxes out stuff out the garden, and whittling. I've whistled the old green man, that sort of thing, or tree spirits, I guess, really, I've done out of bits of firewood and that sort of thing. It's this walking and being outdoors and being connected that encourages my woodworking and gives me ideas. And when you're working with wood, you're actually working with nature, I feel. Each wood has its own smell, and the more you work with it, the more the smell's there, and it's invigorating, it's beautiful in my mind. And I'm not a brilliant woodworker, I do my bit, and I hope I can encourage you and give you some ideas. And that's all I'm doing. Joe Blogs, doing his woodworking, but influenced and encouraged by the great outdoors. Nearly up the hill, Llanelwy, the Welsh name, Elwy being the river that goes through the town. Llan, my understanding, settlement with a church. or otherwise known as Saint Asaph, another saint from the area, I believe. And there's Holywell, 10.5 miles away, or 10.75 miles away. Abergele is another very important market town in its day. Not long we'll be at the cathedral. There she goes, St Asaph Cathedral. I'm halfway, or Llanelwy Cathedral I should say. Supposedly built in 1143 by the Normans, or it's a Norman cathedral. Tower, they think was added circa 1239, probably by Edward I of England while he was trying to conquer North Wales. He had a castle at the road in Rhuddlan, supposedly a parliament up there as well. Gets a bit boring from here to home now, but let's see. Oh, the wall, by the way, was moved many years ago to make way for the roundabout. It used to be at a right angle, and it was a right-hand turn to go up towards Denby, or Dimby. We're now at the bottom of town and we come to the River Elwy. We'll follow this river for a couple of miles, I guess, and then we need to leave it because it gets so muddy and we'll get on the dual carriageway and it gets boring, but not far now. So we're still following the River Elwy, or Avon Elwy. We're just about to cross again under the A55. I don't know if you can see the bridge in the trees there. Now this was a film location for one of my favourite songs that one of my son's friends has written. You need to check it out on YouTube. It covers some areas around St Asaph and it's called Over Polite. Over Polite. Well worth a listen. Well, we're going to have to turn over this bridge to the left hand side shortly. My past experience walking down here is very muddy once you get beyond this bridge. Oh, there's a shortcut I might take, we'll see. Anyway, we were saying about Over Polite. That was produced, I think is the right word, by Down Records, which is my son's record label, I guess, and his friend Neil. Over Polite, fantastic song. And my son Adam, even though he's got Down Records, he's got a number of songs out and albums, brilliant albums, under the name of Scotch Funeral. Check Scotch Funeral out on YouTube. A couple of brilliant videos on YouTube, well worth a watch. And I'm going to be cheeky, I'm going to climb over this gate. There's a little road the other side. I'm not sure you can get to it through the campsite here, and I guess that's private. This never used to be locked, it was always open. It's when they improved the flood defences a few years ago they put this in. So I'm going to nip over here now. Did I say nip? Good job that wasn't filmed, that was embarrassing. Oh, well you look, there's a route through the campsite as well. We'll know next time. Anyway, let's see if I can find this little back road that I know and avoid the dual carriageway on the other side of the Avon Elwy. Well, I hope I'm going in the right direction, because we're certainly heading away from the dual carriageway. The fence is the back end of the campsite. There just seems to be a gate up there as well, so maybe there is a way through, and I'm hoping just beyond the trees is the road, and if there isn't, I'm stuck. I think I'm stuck. River, thicket, gate. Oh, let's see. Oh, I'm out of puff. Well, I thought I'd gain some height. I think the road's just over there behind the gate. But by the looks of it, I can follow the river too. I think I'll go to the gate and avoid the mud. Not so sure. Don't know where he is. I'm being followed by a horse. Beautiful boy. There you go. Good boy. Well, I'm saying boy, it might be a girl. Avoid the mud, he said. Go the other side. Don't bother with the dual carriageway. Ugh. Still, I made some friends. And the mares. So my route this morning was right over there beyond those trees, in between us and those mountain range, and I come all the way around, and far side of that road, I guess a mile or so to the cathedral. We're on the road, but not where I thought I'd be, but definitely the road, and in the distance is sunny Rill. I'm muddy, I'm wet, and I didn't think I'd get muddy because I planned to avoid it. But these walks are to learn and grow. And I've certainly done that this morning. Let's see where this road leads to, and hopefully I'll remember the route to it along that side of the river. I think I should have stayed with the river and it would have come to it, but we'll see. I should definitely have stayed with the river. There's the flood defence, and that's where I could have come out back onto this road. Such a long time ago I didn't have the confidence to stick with it, and now I need to find a footbridge over the river and then we join the dual carriageway, but halfway up. It's been quite the detour. I've enjoyed it. Am I getting tired? Yeah, I can feel it now, and still a few miles to go. Well, only about 100 yards later. Can you see it? There we go. So many memories on this footbridge from being a young boy, probably 48 years ago, thereabouts, maybe a bit longer, all the way up to current day. And here's another memory being made. This wall wasn't there the last time though. There was quite significant floods from this river a few years ago. I believe a few people died, and multi-million pounds of damage along the river. Ugh. Yeah, my legs are tired. There's the bridge. Let's get over it. Starting to leave what I would call the countryside anyway, leaving the fields and the river. And just at the bottom of this country lane is the dual carriageway between Rhuddlan and Llanelwy or St Asaph. I'm going to turn right at the bottom, and then it's dual carriageway all the way back to Rhuddlan. So very nearly home now. Still noisy on the side of the dual carriageway. But just up ahead, the path starts to bear right, and you can go into a nature reserve. Beautiful little oasis on the outskirts of Rhuddlan. Sorry about my shadow, but there you go. The sun's still low. First glimpse of the castle in Rhuddlan. Edward I castle. Part of his ring of iron while he was trying to conquer North Wales, and we're just entering the nature reserve now. Here we go. I got a big smile on my face. It's also interesting, I guess, in the area. A very important town in its day, so it was right on the coast where it isn't now. But the only river crossing in the area was by Rhuddlan. There was a battle here on the marshland, which is now farmland. We got the castle. To the right hand side of the castle is another Motte and Bailey castle, which is basically a muddy mound, if you like, handmade in this case, that would have been a wooden fortress. And then beyond the castles, there was actually a monastery. I believe quite a large monastery. I'm no historian. And you can still see parts of it in the farm, in the buildings called Abbey Farm. They use some of the sculptures, etc., in the farm buildings. But that abbey was razed to the ground by Henry VIII in the era when he decided that he wanted to cash in from the very rich monks and step away from the Catholic Church, and didn't want the Pope involved in Britain, whether you think that's a good idea or not. So we're now a Protestant country because of Henry VIII. All that locally in a kind of village on the outskirts of nowhere, really. Beautiful area though, not putting it down. Absolutely fantastic. Anyone who's old enough to remember the British comedy series On the Buses will recognise this bridge, over 400 years old and still in use every day today. This is where the characters Olive and Arthur, the hapless couple, crashed their motorbike and sidecar and ended up in the river below, along with all the cases and everything. I can't remember what it was called, but On the Buses were on holiday in the local area. Just behind, another view of the superb castle. One thing about Rhuddlan, they've really got an active community. Probably paid for this themselves on the way into Rhuddlan. Beautiful. Well, a bit windswept. There we go. Back to where I started. Quite a long walk. Feel good. My legs are sore. Obviously tired. Bit of fitness, I think, rather than any remnants of COVID, but who knows. So a nice little brew, and put my feet up, clean my shoes. As I said, get a brew down me, plan another walk, and let's see where we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing to my channel, liking the video, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Have fun. Cheers, guys.